On the show Outnumbered on Fox News, they were discussing a new study that found that 25% of women and 2/3 of men would rather shock themselves than be alone to think for 15 minutes. It's really, really sad. I mean, a depressing study because it proves we're not just social animals. We're like hyper-social animals to the point where thinking is too hard for 15 minutes. And again, it's most men and 25% of women. So listen to Brian Kilmeade's awesome admission in response to this.
But here's the amazing thing. And it's the way, when I first saw the story, I thought they were going to say, do you want to spend time alone or do you want to be shocked? I didn't know they spend time alone, and while you're sitting there alone, you can hit a button to shock you because you're so bored of being alone. There's a chance we don't have anything to think about. See, because we think about stuff that happens, and if you're sitting by yourself, what are you thinking about? We don't have a things to do list, a time to reflect.
So you
list.
would enjoy time to think. This would drive you nuts, and you would ask to be shocked rather.
I would be one of the 12 to 18. There was 18 guys did it. 12 shocked themselves. I would probably be shocking myself. Yeah, because I'm not really deep enough to think to have enough to think about for 15 minutes.
I'm the same way.
Agreed. I'm not really deep enough to have something to think about for 15 minutes. That's right. That's right. That is the most true thing ever said on Fox News airwaves. I think he's so stupid, he doesn't even realize that he's admitting that he's stupid. Okay? Now, again, to be fair to him, it was a majority of men that ended up pushing the fucking button and shocking themselves rather than sitting and thinking for 15 minutes. So, yeah, most men are fucking boneheads. It was only 25% of women who were boneheads as well. But I love that he's admitting it. He's just flat out saying, well, yeah, actually, if I was sitting in a room for 15 minutes, I mean, the horror of being in a room alone for 15 minutes, for fuck's sake, I'd rather inflict pain on myself than have to use this thing that we call a brain. In all seriousness, all joking aside, you know what came to my mind when I heard about this? Chimpanzees. Seriously. It's like chimpanzees, orangutans, gorillas, bonobos, just all more primitive primates. Like, they just can't sit there and think. I loved his argument, too. He was like, well, I mean, think about it. I mean, if we don't have something to think about, well, then what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Think about other things? That's impossible. What the fuck are you talking about? There's only a trillion things that you can think about while sitting alone for 15 minutes. It could be things that are happening in your personal life on a social level. It could be things that are happening with your family. It could be something that's related to politics. It could be something philosophical, something deeper and philosophical. You know, it could be different topics. It could be about sports. It could be about leisure. It could be about, I don't know, you're remodeling your back porch and you want to watch HD TV and think of a design so you could try to color coordinate in your head while you're sitting there doing nothing and you could figure out what design you want to lay out. There's a zillion things you can think about, but this guy's such an idiot. He's like, well, no, unless somebody tells me what to think, then I'm not going to, what am I going to do? I'm going to think on my own? Oh, that's so telling, man, because it really shows you. Remember how we always joke about how Republicans are tribal by their nature. They'll follow the leader. They need somebody to love and somebody to hate. He's proving that right here, you know? You really think this guy, let's say, you know, you talk about Reagan or you talk about George W. Bush. You really think that given a quote from one of those presidents that he's going to sit there and evaluate it and logically break it down and say, you know, philosophically I agree, but empirically there are some problems here, and let me lay them out for you. See, the issue is, no, he can never do that. What's he going to do? What's he going to sit there and talk about a priori and a posteriori truths? He's going to get into the philosophical nature of different political arguments? Spare me! He's a follow the leader kind of guy. He's a sheep. He's telling you, I can't think. I can't think for 15 minutes. So how am I supposed to sit here and respect your take on the decrease in unionization in the United States of America, or what you think the proper top marginal income tax rate should be? Why should I listen to you? You can't go 15 minutes without shocking yourself because you get that bored because your mind is so dull.